but he was cut off in his prime. We don't know where he was going to go. We don't know what he was going to do next. What's the legacy? What's the impact of that kind of premature departure on the music scene, the punk scene, the film scene in Leningrad and wider?
Well, I would say that it would be really hard to overestimate the legacy of Victor Tsoy. And well, it's been, what, 25 years is going to be this summer that he's no longer with us, but the impact is enormous. I mean, there are films about him. There's a tribute band called Victor. There's his music is in so many films again and again and again. It's like one of the more recent, most interesting Russian films that I saw, called Durak, the Fool, has Victor Tsoy's songs in it. And this image of the sort of the lone hero, again, very much the James Dean kind of image. It's very much there, and his clear-cut lyrics and his image, it's all very much there. Well, Live Alone, and no, the Victor Tsoy wall that was on the Arbat in Moscow for decades, and I don't know, there's an asteroid called after Victor Tsoy. There are a few streets around Russia called named after Victor Tsoy. There are a few monuments in St. Petersburg and elsewhere. So he's pretty much everywhere. He's still very much as a household name as he was back in 1990 when he died.
Yeah, I think I can probably make one addition. In 2000, I think in a group of filmmakers made the first film, which later to become a very popular tradition of Russian filmmaking, the no-budget film. I mean, recently, probably in that direction, whoever follows Russian contemporary cinema, if you watched Kombinat Nadezhda, the Hope Factory, this kind of follows this tradition of filming non-professional actors, but making kind of the film, proper film. Well, the first one in this line was a film which was called in Russian Pyl and in English Dust. It featured Pyotr Mamonov, who will also be a secondary role in the Needle, in the kind of final scene. And this film was a very kind of weird genre, I don't know how to call it precisely, but the film was already in 2000 what it was, the kind of nowhere near the protest in Russia, way before. It was kind of all kind of portraying the Russian realities of the 2000s. No, not 2002, but maybe 2006. But already kind of present kind of FSB agents, and there was already corrupt officials and so on and so forth, things which are very kind of popular now in Russia. And the film finished with the same song, Peremena, in the same soundtrack, but because it was about the person who was presumably mentally unstable, so it was like the hospital theme was one of the central one. And the song Peremena was in the end in the same way as here in the Assa, but presented by the translation for audibly impaired people, I mean the sign language. Absolutely powerful thing, absolutely great thing, and it's kind of a sign which how significant this kind of vibe, this kind of message of Peremena goes across people who think probably about what's going on in Russia, who are like permanently unhappy with it and things like that. So it is very powerful, I think, and important.
And another thing that I would like to add is the extreme importance, the incredible importance that he attributed to style. The style of presentation, the style of the group. I mentioned the very first time when they appeared in this kind of long hair and cravat, then it all went down to this all black, very laconic, very, very stylish way the group has, always presented themselves. And another thing is that they were all part of the new artist movement in Leningrad and in St. Petersburg. And the drummer who we just saw of the band, Georgy Guryanov, who died a couple of years ago, he turned out now he's one of the most required, most in-demand post-Soviet artists. And Victor's works, and Timur Novikov, who was again the leader of this new artist group, he's in this film, he was the artist of kino. So it was very closely connected with the artistic movement in the underground art scene in Leningrad. So they were very, it wasn't just rock. It was very much a wide, a part of the wider rock and art underground movement, which was, so the impact was not just upon music, but on the entire art scene.
That's very helpful, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the film now. I want to say a huge thank you to Ivan and to Alexander for bearing with us during the countdown.
Guys, I would like to thank you all for coming back.
I was going to say the same thing, and enjoy the